The elevator plunged into darkness between floors 42 and 43. Dr. Sophia Winters gripped the cold steel handrail, her prosthetic left leg, worth more than most people's annual salary, locked beneath a charcoal Armani suit that had commanded 1,000 boardrooms. 28 years old, youngest female CEO in Silicon Valley's artificial intelligence sector, alone in ways that went deeper than the blackout wrapping around them. The emergency lights flickered on, dim, orange, insufficient. That's when she saw them. A maintenance worker in faded navy fabric, paint staining the crescents of his fingernails, and beside him, a little girl clutching a worn NASA backpack, her eyes dark and ancient for 7 years old, fixed on the place where Sophia's leg met carbon fiber and titanium. Mom used to say people who survive impossible things get superpowers. The child's voice cut through the elevator's mechanical hum. Is that your superpower? Sophia's throat constricted. 10 years. 10 years of strategic concealment, of moving through the world as if she were whole. 10 years and nobody had ever called it that. A superpower. The man's calloused hands settled on the girl's shoulders, but his eyes, when they met Sophia's, held something that made her armor crack. Recognition, not of her face, but of the wound beneath the achievement. Emma, honey, we shouldn't... His voice carried exhaustion and something finer. Dignity worn thin by circumstance. 60 seconds until the doors opened. 60 seconds that felt like the hinge upon which everything might turn. The 48th floor penthouse stretched across 3,500 square feet of glass and steel, suspended above Manhattan like a monument to solitary ambition. Sophia had purchased it the same week quantum dynamics hit unicorn status. $1 billion in valuation before her 25th birthday. What it didn't contain? Warmth. Another human voice in the morning. Proof that success and happiness were the same thing. Her morning ritual was mechanical. 5 a.m. wake. Remove the $85,000 prosthetic. The phantom pain came less frequently now, but the phantom loneliness never left. Yoga, shower, rebuild the armor. By 6:30, she was in her office before the sun fully cleared the skyline. The coffee maker hissed. She measured grounds with precision, 20 grams, water heated to exactly 200 degrees. Control what you can control. The mantra she'd lived by since the night a drunk driver crossed the center line and took not just her leg, but the boy who'd promised forever. The text message still lived in her phone, archived but never deleted. I can't do this. I'm sorry. Marcus hadn't even had the courage to say it to her face. Just a text from the hospital waiting room while surgeons fought to save what they could. She'd built herself back the way she'd later build companies. Systematically, relentlessly. Stanford in 3 years instead of 4. Each Forbes profile, each TechCrunch headline, they were bricks in a wall tall enough that the world couldn't hurt her again. The board meeting that morning went smoothly until Victoria Chen, the board chair, raised concerns about the AI prosthetics division. Sentiment isn't strategy, Sophia. Investors want profit, not philanthropy. But Sophia held firm. The prosthetics division was personal, even if she'd never said so aloud. Technology that could give back what had been taken. Accessibility at a price point that didn't require bankruptcy. It wasn't just business. It was redemption. Through her office's glass wall, movement caught her eye. The maintenance worker from the elevator, pushing a cart, the little girl walking beside him. School must have ended early. The child said something that made the man's face transform with unguarded laughter. Pure, unburdened joy that made Sophia's stomach drop with the force of its absence from her own life. She stood without deciding to move to the glass. The man noticed her staring, and his expression shifted to caution. He said something to the girl, then guided her toward Sophia's office. The knock was tentative but determined. Sophia opened the door herself. Up close, the girl's eyes held that peculiar sharpness of children who've had to grow up faster than childhood should allow. The man stood protective behind her, and Sophia noticed for the first time the bone structure of someone who'd once moved in different circles. Miss Winters. The girl's voice carried formal courtesy that didn't quite mask nervousness. I wanted to apologize for yesterday. Dad says I shouldn't have asked about your leg like that. Sophia crouched to eye level. You didn't make me sad. You surprised me. Nobody's ever called it a superpower before. Emma's face lit up like Christmas morning. But it is. You can probably kick really hard with it, and it never gets tired. And it looks like something from the future. The man placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. We should let Ms. Winters get back to work, baby. But Emma wasn't finished. Do you have other superpowers? Dad says really smart people can see things other people miss. Sophia surprised herself by laughing. Genuine sound, rusty from disuse. What grade are you in, Emma? The girl's enthusiasm dimmed. Second grade. It's okay. The work is easy. A pause. But some of the kids are mean sometimes. They say Dad can't afford the right clothes for me and that I shouldn't bring him to school events. Sophia felt her throat tighten. The man, Dad, shifted uncomfortably, jaw clenching with the particular shame of a parent who couldn't shield their child from cruel truths. Harper, we really should. But his daughter continued. They don't know he's the best dad in the whole world. He makes me pancakes shaped like stars every Sunday. And when I have nightmares about Mom, he stays up all night with me. The mention of the mother hung heavy. Sophia saw grief flash across the man's face before he controlled his expression. That's enough, sweetheart. He was already guiding Emma toward the door, already retreating. Wait. Sophia's voice surprised her with its force. They stopped. Emma, how are you with numbers? The girl brightened. Really good. I can do multiplication in my head up to 12 times 12. Sophia nodded slowly. I need someone to help me test educational software our company is developing. Would you be interested? $50 an hour? 2 hours a week after school? The man's expression shifted between suspicion and desperate hope. Ms. Winters, that's very kind, but we need authentic feedback from someone in our target demographic. 7-year-olds are notoriously honest. Sophia extended her hand. It's business, Mr. Rivers, James Rivers. His handshake revealed calluses earned through physical labor. Everyone calls me Jamie. Jamie, then. She turned to Emma. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4? Emma looked at her father with pleading eyes. Dad, that's $100 a week. Jamie's face flushed. Why would you do this? Sophia could have lied. Instead, because your daughter saw something in me that I'd forgotten was there, and because nobody should be ashamed of honest work, no matter what second graders think. Jamie nodded slowly, understanding passing between them. Okay, but this stays professional. I won't have Emma thinking she's charity. The words stung, but Sophia understood. Dignity was all some people had left. Understood. Can we start today? Emma bounced on her toes. Jamie checked his cracked Timex. I'll be back at 6:15 for pickup. That's how it began. 2 afternoons a week, Emma became a fixture in Sophia's office. The girl would settle at the conference table with focused determination, testing software with brutal 7-year-old honesty. This part is boring. You should add more colors. And why does the character have to be a boy? But it wasn't just about software. Emma talked about her mother, who died 2 years ago from cancer, about Dad working 3 jobs to keep them in their apartment, about wanting to be an astronaut someday. One Tuesday in the 3rd week, while working on geometry problems, Emma asked, Miss Winters, does your leg still hurt, like on the inside where people can't see? Sophia set down her pen. The question was different this time, not about what happened, but about what remained. Sometimes, not the leg itself, but the place where it used to be. Phantom pain, doctors call it. Your brain remembers what's gone. Emma considered this. Mom's cancer hurt a lot. After she died, I thought maybe the hurt would stop. But it didn't. It just changed into a different kind of hurt. She looked up. But Dad says the hurt means we love someone, and that loving someone is always worth it, even when it hurts after. Do you think that's true? Sophia couldn't answer immediately. She thought about the decades she'd spent building walls instead of bridges. I don't know. I used to think avoiding hurt was the smartest choice. But maybe your dad is right. Emma smiled, the kind that suggested she understood more than she should. You should ask him yourself. He knows a lot about love. That evening, Jamie came at 6:15, looking exhausted in faded jeans and an old t-shirt, but his face softened when he saw his daughter. Sophia watched them together and felt the loneliness of her life settle heavily. Thank you for this, Jamie said, his voice carrying pride, fighting desperation. It means more than you know. She's brilliant. You're raising someone extraordinary. Jamie's smile carried grief's weight. Her mother deserves most of that credit. I'm just trying not to mess up what she started. You're succeeding. Emma knows she's loved. That's everything. Jamie met her eyes then, really met them, and Sophia felt something shift. He saw her, not the CEO, not the disability overcomer, just her. It terrified her. We should go. Emma needs dinner. He hesitated. Would you like to join us? Nothing fancy, just mac and cheese. Every instinct told her to decline. The penthouse waited, immaculate and empty. I'd like that. The apartment was in a neighborhood Sophia's GPS flagged for crime. The building's paint peeled. The lobby smelled of cooking spices and age. Jamie unlocked 3 deadbolts into 500 square feet of meticulously maintained survival. Everything had its place. Children's drawings covered the refrigerator. A makeshift bookshelf held calculus texts, physics primers, poetry volumes, worn children's stories. In the corner, a curtain sectioned off Emma's sleeping area. Jamie moved through the tiny kitchen with efficient grace. Sophia found herself sitting at a folding table, eating boxed macaroni from mismatched plates, and it was the most comfortable she'd felt in years. After dinner, Emma showed Sophia her bedroom, the curtained alcove with drawings everywhere. One watercolor stopped Sophia cold. 3 stick figures labeled Mom, Dad, Me. The mother figure wore a white coat. They held hands reaching toward gold-painted stars. Sophia understood what it meant for Emma to share this grief that shaped her world. Time for bed, baby, Jamie announced. Emma yawned, then looked at Sophia seriously. Will you come back? The weight of that question pressed against Sophia's defenses. Yes, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I promise. Jamie walked her to the door. In the narrow entryway, they stood close enough that Sophia could smell sawdust and honest work. Could feel the magnetic pull of another person's loneliness, recognizing her own. Thank you for being kind to her. She's had a rough couple of years. Sophia wanted to say that Emma was giving her something too. Instead, she's remarkable. Jamie looked at her with an expression she couldn't parse. Recognition, maybe. Good night, Sophia. First name. Intentional. She left feeling the distance between where she stood and where she lived. Wondered if it was measured in miles or in choices. The weeks developed a rhythm. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Emma came for software testing and increasingly complex discussions. More often than not, Sophia invited them to dinner afterward. Sometimes restaurants, sometimes the apartment. Once pizza on her office floor because the table wasn't big enough for 3 people, and laughter. Sophia learned the texture of their lives. Jamie worked building maintenance 6 to 3, drove Uber until 9, picked up construction shifts on weekends, 5 hours of sleep on good nights. His wife Helen, a chemist with a PhD from MIT, lost to cancer 2 years ago. He'd loved her completely, still did, but was learning to exist in the space after grief. Sophia shared in return her parents' death in a plane crash when she was 16, the accident 2 years later, the years of rebuilding. She didn't talk about Marcus, but Jamie seemed to understand anyway. One November evening, after Emma fell asleep on the office couch, they sat talking over good coffee. "Why us?" Jamie asked finally. "Why are you really doing this?" Sophia could have deflected. "Because I'm lonely. Because I've spent 10 years building a life that looks successful but feels empty. Because your daughter saw me in a way nobody has since my accident. And because being around you both makes me remember what it feels like to be human." Jamie didn't look away. "I know that feeling. After Helen died, I thought if I could just work hard enough, the emptiness would go away. But you can't outrun loneliness. You can only decide whether to live with it alone or risk letting someone else in. Letting people in means giving them power to hurt you. I've had enough hurt." "Me too." Jamie's hand moved across the table, covered hers. "But then I look at Emma and realize love isn't something you regulate. It just is. Trying to protect yourself from it means cutting yourself off from the only thing that makes life worth living." Sophia stared at their joined hands. "What are we doing here, Jamie?" "I don't know, but I know I don't want to stop." Jamie studied her face with intensity that made her feel simultaneously exposed and seen. "My life is complicated. I have a daughter who comes first. I work 3 jobs just to make rent. I don't want fancy things. I want this. I want Tuesday and Thursday evenings. I want to help Emma with homework and talk to you about things that matter." He kissed her then, soft and tentative, as if she might shatter. Sophia kissed him back, tasting coffee and hope and terrifying possibility. When they pulled apart, she was crying. Jamie wiped her tears away with rough thumbs. "Okay, let's figure this out together." The next 6 weeks felt like discovering a forgotten language. They moved slowly, aware that Emma's well-being trumped everything. Text messages throughout the day, Jamie calling during breaks, Sophia finding excuses to stop by the building. She learned things. That he sent money to his sister monthly even when it meant skipping meals. That he'd taught himself repairs through YouTube. That he read to Emma every night no matter how exhausted. And slowly Sophia began to help. She hired Jamie's nephew for an internship, made sure Jamie was offered a maintenance supervisor position with better pay, bought Emma new clothes as prizes for software work. One evening in early December, after helping Emma with calculus that most high schoolers couldn't solve, Sophia noticed something. The textbooks on Jamie's shelf weren't just advanced. They were graduate level, MIT Press logos, doctoral dissertations. Later, after Emma went to bed, Sophia asked casually, "Jamie, what did you do before maintenance work?" His expression shuddered. "Why do you ask?" "Those textbooks. That's not recreational reading." Jamie was quiet for a long moment. "I had a different life once, before Helen got sick, before everything fell apart." "What kind of life?" He looked at her, seeming to make a decision. "I was a professor, MIT, robotics and AI. I was developing neural integration systems for prosthetics." His laugh was bitter. "Ironic, isn't it? I spent years trying to help people like you, and now I push a mop in your building." Sophia's mind raced. "What happened?" "Helen was diagnosed the same week I accepted a position at a company here in Manhattan. They wanted me immediately. I asked for a delay, 6 months to get Helen through treatment. They said no, so I chose her, obviously." His voice cracked. "She died 8 months later. Medical bills were $500,000. We lost everything. And the company blacklisted me. Called every lab, said I was unreliable. My PhD became worthless overnight." "What company?" Jamie looked at her steadily. "Yours, Quantum Dynamics, though you probably didn't know. It was before you were CEO. Sophia felt like she'd been struck. Who recruited you? Victoria Chen, your board chair. Sophia couldn't sleep that night. She accessed Quantum's old HR files, dug through archives, found it. Dr. James Rivers, recruitment package dated 3 years ago. Victoria's notes, exceptional candidate, revolutionary prosthetics AI, rejected our offer, unreliable, do not pursue. But that wasn't the whole truth. Sophia found emails Victoria had buried. Jamie hadn't rejected the offer. He'd asked for a compassionate delay. Victoria had refused and then systematically destroyed his reputation to cover her own impatience. The next morning, Sophia called Grace Lynn, her co-founder and mentor. Grace, I need you to look into something. Quietly, Victoria Chen's involvement with our prosthetics division 3 years ago. Over the next week, Grace uncovered a pattern. The division wasn't underperforming. Victoria had been systematically underfunding it, bearing promising research, making it appear unsuccessful. And there was more. Suspicious transactions, shell companies, money moving in ways that didn't add up. Sophia, Grace said over the phone, her voice grave, I think she's been embezzling. We need forensic accountants. How long will that take? Weeks, maybe months, to build a case that'll hold up. Sophia stared out her office window. We might not have that long. Meanwhile, her relationship with Jamie deepened. They were careful around Emma, but the girl was perceptive. One Saturday morning, making pancakes in Sophia's kitchen, a recent routine, Emma looked up from her math homework. Miss Sophia, do you love my dad? Sophia froze. Jamie stopped mid-flip. Emma, that's not, Jamie started. Because I think you do, Emma continued. You smile different when he's here, and Dad smiles different when he talks about you. My teacher says that's what love looks like. Sophia knelt down. Would that be okay with you, if I loved your dad? Emma considered this seriously. Mom told Dad before she died that she wanted him to be happy again. She said loving someone new wouldn't mean he stopped loving her. So yes, it would be okay. Jamie pulled them both into a hug, tears streaming down his face. That night after Emma was asleep, Jamie and Sophia sat on her penthouse balcony overlooking the city. I need to tell you something, Sophia said. I've been investigating what happened to you. Victoria didn't just refuse your request. She actively destroyed your career. And I think she's been embezzling from the company. Jamie went still. Why would she do that? I think she saw your research as a threat. Your prosthetics AI could have been worth tens of millions in patents. If you joined Quantum, you might have discovered her theft. So she made sure you never could. What are you going to do? Build a case. Take it to the board. But Jamie, I want you to know that whatever happens, I'm not doing this to save you. I'm doing this because it's right. Because your research could help millions of people. Because Victoria needs to face consequences. Jamie took her hand. I know. And I need you to know something too. I've been struggling with accepting your help, feeling like I'm being rescued. But Emma said something that changed my perspective. What did she say? She asked me why I was sad when you wanted to help us. I told her I was afraid of not being enough. She said, Dad, Mom used to help you too. You helped her. That's what families do. His voice broke. Helen always said pride was just fear wearing a suit. I've been so afraid of being rescued that I forgot what Emma already knows. We're supposed to help each other. That's not weakness. That's love. Sophia kissed him. Partners? Partners. 2 weeks later, a photograph appeared in a tech blog. Someone had captured Sophia and Jamie leaving a restaurant in Chelsea, Emma between them holding both their hands. The headline, Tech CEO's Unlikely Romance, Slumming It or the Real Deal. The article was condescending, turning their relationship into a spectacle about class and appropriateness. Sophia's board saw it. So did investors and competitors. Her CFO called an emergency meeting. 8 people around mahogany, faces neutral in that particular way that meant trouble. This relationship, Victoria Chen said, leaning forward, is it serious? Sophia felt anger flash hot. My personal life is not board business. It becomes board business when it affects investor confidence. We have 3 major deals closing. Our IPO is scheduled for spring. You're the face of this company. Your choices reflect on all of us. Richard Pemberton, a silver-haired venture capitalist, cleared his throat. Dating someone with significant financial problems raises questions about judgment. This man has medical debt in the 6 figures. What happens when those become your problems? Sophia stood. Jamie Rivers is one of the most honorable people I've ever met. The fact that you assume he's some kind of gold digger says more about you than him. Victoria raised a hand. Nobody's attacking his character. We're concerned about timing. Can't this wait until after the IPO? No, it can't wait because I've already waited 10 years to feel anything real. I'm done pretending that success without connection is actually success. Richard's voice carried a barely veiled threat. Perhaps we need to discuss whether you're still the right person to lead this company. Victoria looked uncomfortable. We're saying there are ways to manage this. More discretion. A prenuptial agreement protecting company assets. I'll think about what you said. Sophia gathered her things. But I won't be managed like a liability. And if that makes me unsuitable to be CEO, then maybe we do need a different conversation. She left, feeling hollowed out. Her phone buzzed. Jamie. Emma wants to know if you're coming for dinner tonight. Such a simple invitation, weighted with everything. She typed back, I'll be there. But before she could leave, her phone rang. Jamie, not texting, his voice was strained. Can you come to Emma's school? There was an incident. She's okay, but they want both parents there. And she asked for you. Sophia grabbed her coat. She made it to the elementary school in 15 minutes, found Jamie in the principal's office, scared and angry. He reached for her hand. The principal led them to where Emma sat, right eye swelling, uniform torn. But her expression was defiant. What happened? Sophia asked, kneeling. Emma looked at her father for permission. Jamie nodded. Tyler Blake said his dad said you were a charity case. Said Dad was only with you because you felt sorry for us. Said we were poor trash. Emma's voice didn't waver. I told him to take it back. He said no. So I hit him. Sophia's blood went cold. Tyler Blake, as in Dr. Marcus Blake's son? The principal nodded. Yes, Dr. Blake is a major donor to our school. He's expressed concerns about his son's exposure to unstable home situations. Sophia stood slowly. Marcus, her ex-fiancé who'd abandoned her in the hospital, using his son to hurt Emma, to hurt her. Let me understand this, Sophia said, her voice ice. A child bullied Emma about economic circumstances, fed information clearly from his father. And your response is to punish the victim? Ms. Winters, there are rules. Rules that protect bullies and punish children for standing up for themselves. Here's what's happening. Emma receives the same consequence as Tyler, 1-day suspension for both. Tyler's family gets mandatory counseling, and you review your policies. Or I pull my $250,000 annual donation and call the superintendent. The principal calculated. I'll review the incident report. I expect a call by end of day. Outside in the parking lot, Sophia turned to Jamie and Emma. I need to tell you both something. Tyler's father, Marcus Blake, is my ex-fiancé, the one who left me at the hospital after my accident. He's using his son to get to me. Emma's eyes went wide. Jamie's jaw tightened. This is my fault, Sophia said. My past is hurting you both. No, Jamie pulled her close. This is Marcus's fault, and we'll face it together. But Sophia could see something in his eyes, doubt creeping in, the reality of what dating her meant, not just opportunity, but danger. That night, Victoria called an emergency board meeting. The photo had gone viral. Investors were nervous. The European deal was shaky. Victoria presented her ultimatum. Sophia, we've prepared a proposal, 6-month leave of absence. We bring in an interim CEO. When you come back, you'll have proven your judgment isn't compromised. And if I refuse, Victoria's smile didn't reach her eyes, then we call for a vote of no confidence. I should mention, I've already secured commitments from 6 board members. The vote will be 7-5 against you. This isn't a negotiation. It's a courtesy call. Sophia felt the ground shift. She'd lost before she even knew they were voting. You have until 9 a.m. tomorrow to resign gracefully. Otherwise, we remove you forcibly. Sophia sat in her office until midnight, staring at awards that suddenly felt meaningless. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jamie. Emma asked why you haven't come for dinner. I don't know what to tell her. I don't know what to tell myself. She typed back, I'm about to lose everything, and the only thing I care about losing is you two. Jamie, then don't lose us. Choose us. Sophia stared at the message. What did choosing them even mean? Giving up quantum? Everything she'd built? The proof that her disability didn't define her? At 2 a.m., Grace Lynn called. I pushed the forensic accountants to work through the night. Sophia, it's worse than we thought. Victoria's embezzled $8 million over 3 years. She's been funneling funds from the prosthetics division to shell companies. She needs to shut it down before IPO due diligence catches her. Can we prove it? We have paper trails, bank records, enough to bury her. But Grace paused. I also found something else. Jamie's research. His patents are filed with the patent office. Revolutionary AI-powered prosthetics with neural integration. Conservative estimate, worth $50 million, maybe more. Sophia's mind raced. Victoria tried to steal his research. When he refused, she destroyed him. Exactly. And now she's trying to destroy you before you figure it out. Grace, I need you to do something. And I need Jamie's help. At 4 a.m., Sophia showed up at Jamie's apartment, still in pajamas, prosthetic barely attached, mascara smeared from crying. Jamie opened the door in boxers. Sophia, I'm sorry I've brought my mess into your life, but I need you, not as my project, as my partner. Victoria destroyed your career to hide her crimes. She's trying to destroy mine. I can fight her, but I need your research, your patents. The proof that she shut down a billion-dollar division to cover embezzlement. Emma appeared, small and concerned. Miss Sophia? Sophia knelt. Hey, sweetheart. I know it's early, but I need to tell you something. I love you, and I love your dad, and I'm going to fix this. Emma hugged her tight. Promise? Promise. After Emma went back to sleep, Jamie said, What do you need? Your prosthetics AI patents. If we present them at the board meeting, we prove Victoria destroyed innovation to hide theft. But I can't ask you to give up Helen's legacy. Jamie stopped her. Helen would want them used. She'd want kids like Emma to have access to technology that saves lives. I'll do it, but not for revenge. For Emma, for every kid who loses a parent and needs proof the world can be better. There's something else. Sophia took a breath. I've been testing your prototype for 2 weeks secretly. It works, Jamie, better than anything on the market. I want to demonstrate it at the board meeting. Show them what Victoria tried to bury. Jamie studied her face. You'd really do that? Reveal your disability publicly? Risk untested technology? It's not untested anymore. I've been wearing it. And yes, I'm done hiding. He kissed her fiercely. Partners. Partners. At 5 a.m., there was a knock. Jamie opened it to find Marcus Blake, haggard in an expensive suit. Marcus saw Sophia. "Of course you'd be here." "What do you want, Marcus?" Sophia's voice was cold. "Victoria sent me. Offered me $5 million to convince Rivers to disappear before the board meeting. She knows you're digging." He looked directly at Sophia. "I came to warn you. She's planning a hostile takeover at 9 a.m. Full board coup. Why would you help me?" Marcus's face twisted with regret. "Because I made the worst mistake of my life walking away from you 10 years ago. I won't make another one by helping Victoria destroy you." He looked at Jamie. "I'll testify about her bribery attempt. I'll bring my company's shareholder vote. And," he paused, "I need to apologize for Tyler. I've been teaching him the wrong values. That success means crushing others. I'm trying to do better." He left before Sophia could respond. Jamie turned to her. "Your ex-fiancé just saved us." "People can change," Sophia said quietly, "if they want to badly enough." At 8:30 a.m., Sophia, Jamie, and Emma walked into Quantum's headquarters. Emma wore her best dress, still worn but clean. Jamie wore a suit Sophia had bought him, though he'd insisted on paying her back in installments. Sophia wore a simple dress that didn't hide her prosthetic. She'd removed her usual pants for the first time in a decade. The conference room filled with 12 board members. Victoria sat at the head, confident. "Before we vote," Sophia said, "I'd like to present new evidence." "This is highly irregular," Victoria began. "So is embezzling $8 million. The room erupted. Grace Lynn stepped forward with folders. Forensic accounting, shell companies registered in Victoria's name, offshore accounts, wire transfers from Quantum's prosthetics division, paper trail documented over 3 years. Victoria's face went white. "This is fabricated." "Federal prosecutors have copies," Grace said. "So does the SEC. Sophia nodded to Jamie. "Board members, meet Dr. James Rivers, MIT professor specializing in AI robotics. The man Victoria blacklisted 3 years ago because he wouldn't sign over $50 million in patents to Quantum." Jamie stepped forward. "My research focused on AI-powered prosthetics with neural integration. Ms. Winters has agreed to demonstrate the prototype." He opened a case revealing a prosthetic unlike anything they'd seen. Sleek, rose gold, clearly advanced. Sophia spoke. "For 2 weeks, I've been secretly testing Dr. Rivers' technology. I wanted to be certain before presenting to you." She reached down and removed her current prosthetic in front of everyone. Shocking vulnerability that made several board members look away. Jamie attached the prototype with practiced efficiency. Sophia stood, took a step. The prosthetic moved naturally, responding to her neural impulses. "I can feel it," she said, wonder in her voice. "Actual sensory feedback. Temperature, pressure, texture." Emma stepped forward, suddenly all business. "Dad's AI creates bidirectional feedback loops. Users regain 90% natural movement. Production cost is 1/30th of current market prices. That means accessibility for people who can't afford prosthetics now." Grace delivered the business case. "Global prosthetics market, $8 billion annually. Dr. Rivers' patents give us 15-year market exclusivity on neural integration. Conservative projections, $2 billion in revenue year 1 post-IPO. Victoria shut down this division to hide embezzlement from the project that would have made us industry leaders." Victoria stood. "This is a circus. You're believing a disgraced academic and a CEO compromised by personal relationships?" Marcus Blake entered. "Then believe a competitor." He played a recording, his phone conversation with Victoria the previous night, her offering insider information for $5 million, her voice offering to tank the IPO from the inside. Victoria realized she was finished. Sophia moved for a vote. "Remove Victoria Chen from the board and refer her to authorities. Appoint Dr. Rivers as Chief Technology Officer. established the Helen Rivers Memorial Foundation for Accessible Prosthetics, funded by 30% of our prosthetics division profits. The vote was 11-0. Victoria abstained, knowing she'd lost. As security escorted Victoria out, she turned with a smile that made Sophia's stomach drop. "You think you've won?" "I've already sold my shares to Blake's investment group. Check the filings." Sophia pulled up SEC documents. Her blood ran cold. Marcus's company now owned 18% of Quantum, Victoria's entire stake. With his shares and allies, Marcus controlled 30% of the board. He could destroy everything she'd built. Marcus stood at the door, holding the signed share purchase agreement. The room held its breath. Then he tore the papers in half. Victoria made one mistake. She assumed I still wanted revenge. He looked at Sophia. "These shares, I'm donating them to the Helen Rivers Foundation, effective immediately." "Sophia, you once asked me what kind of man I wanted to be. I'm trying to become the answer." He left before anyone could respond. That afternoon, Emma sat in Sophia's office, exhausted from the morning's drama. "Miss Sophia, can I ask you something?" "Always. When you took off your leg in front of everyone, weren't you scared?" "Terrified. But your dad taught me something. Hiding isn't strength. Being seen is." Emma looked at her hands. "At school, we had to write about wishes. I wrote, 'I wish for a mom who loves science like my first mom, and who loves dad like my first mom, and who thinks I'm smart.' The teacher said that's 3 wishes. But it's really just one wish, isn't it?" Tears streamed down Sophia's face. "What's the one wish?" "I wished for you." Emma hugged her tight and fell asleep against her shoulder. When Jamie appeared in the doorway, Sophia mouthed, "She wants me to be her mom." He crossed the room, knelt beside them, pulled out a simple ring. "I bought this with my first freelance paycheck 2 months ago. I was terrified to ask. Terrified you'd say no. Terrified I wasn't enough. But Emma's right. We're not 3 separate wishes. We're one. Dr. Rivers, are you proposing in my office while your daughter sleeps on my couch?" "I am. Is that a problem?" "Only if you think I'm saying anything but yes." IPO day at NASDAQ. Sophia, Jamie, and Emma on the trading floor for the opening bell. Quantum opened at $48 per share. When they announced the prosthetics division details, the stock hit 65 by closing, $2.3 billion valuation. Emma rang the closing bell, grinning at cameras. A reporter asked, "Dr. Winters, what's your secret to success?" "I stopped trying to be successful alone." The Helen Rivers Memorial Foundation launched the following week. Their first recipient, a 9-year-old amputee from the Bronx who couldn't afford a prosthetic. When Jamie fitted her with the prototype and she took her first natural steps in 2 years, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Emma whispered to Sophia, "Mom would be so proud of Dad." It was the first time Emma had called Sophia Mom publicly. The wedding was small, 50 guests in a community center. Grace Lynn officiated. Emma served as flower girl in her NASA dress, carrying paper stars made from gold foil. Sophia wore a simple white dress. Her prosthetic was visible, the rose gold prototype Jamie had designed for her. She didn't hide anymore. Jamie's vows. "You taught me that broken pieces can fit together into something stronger than whole ever was." Sophia's vows. "You taught me that superpowers aren't about what we've overcome, but who we let love us anyway." Emma's unplanned addition. "And I promise to always do my homework and only hit people who really deserve it." Everyone laughed. Emma high-fived Sophia. Marcus Blake appeared briefly at the reception. "Sophia, I wanted to apologize properly. You found what I was too coward to keep, and..." He hesitated. "Tyler asked me to give this to Emma." He handed Sophia an envelope. Inside, a child's drawing, 2 girls holding hands labeled Tyler and Emma. Below it, "I'm sorry I was mean. My therapist says hurt people hurt people. I'm trying to be better. Marcus's eyes were wet. We're both trying to be better. He left before Sophia could respond, but the nod they exchanged held mutual respect. 1 year later, Brooklyn brownstone, Sunday morning, star-shaped pancakes filled the kitchen with their sweet scent. Emma ran in waving a paper. Mom, Dad, I finished the adaptive learning algorithm before breakfast. Sophia sipped coffee, smiling. What are you, superhuman? Nope, just lucky. I have two parents who are actual geniuses. At Quantum's office, photos lined Sophia's wall. The IPO bell, Emma's science fair, their wedding, the foundation's ribbon cutting. But tucked in the corner was a candid shot. 3 people eating pizza on the floor, laughing. That was the one she looked at most. In Central Park, they flew a kite together. Emma ran ahead, shrieking with joy. Jamie asked, Any regrets? About choosing love over empire? Sophia smiled. I didn't choose one over the other. I finally understood they were never separate. Success without connection isn't success. It's just loneliness with better furniture. She watched Emma dance beneath the kite. I spent 10 years proving I was whole with a prosthetic leg. Turns out I needed a prosthetic family. We're all prosthetics for each other, Jamie said softly, filling gaps, making each other complete. They kissed. Emma photobombed with a laugh that carried across the park. Sophia's voice carried over the final scene. They say success is measured in dollars and titles and achievements, but I learned it's measured in Sunday pancakes and 4 a.m. conversations and 7-year-olds who call you mom. I didn't lose my empire when I chose love. I finally built the kingdom that mattered. 3 silhouettes against the sunset. Emma between her parents, holding both their hands. The kite soaring above them, dancing with the wind. 18 months after the wedding, Sophia received an email from federal prosecutors. Victoria Chen had pled guilty to wire fraud and embezzlement. 7 years in prison, full restitution of the $8 million. The case was closed. Sophia deleted the email without responding. Victoria was the past. The family around her breakfast table was the future. 2 years after the IPO, the Helen Rivers Memorial Foundation had provided accessible prosthetics to over 5,000 people across 40 states. Emma, now 10, served as the foundation's youth ambassador, giving speeches about her mom, both of them, and the importance of technology that serves humanity, not just profit. Jamie's research had won 3 international awards, but his favorite achievement was simpler. Emma had made the advanced science program at her school. Tyler Blake was in her class. They'd become friends, proving that second chances could heal more than the people who took them. Marcus Blake visited once a year, always bringing a donation to the foundation and an update on Tyler's progress. He never stayed long, but each visit, the conversation grew easier. Forgiveness, Sophia learned, wasn't a moment, but a practice. Some wounds healed slowly, but they healed. On Emma's 11th birthday, she asked for something unusual. Can we visit Mom Helen's grave? I want to introduce her to Mom Sophia properly. They went together, all 3 of them. Emma placed flowers on the headstone and said, Mom Helen, thank you for teaching Dad about love. Thank you for making me, and thank you for telling him it was okay to be happy again. Mom Sophia makes us really happy. I think you'd like her. Sophia stood there crying, understanding finally that love wasn't about replacement or competition. It was about expansion, about making room for everyone who'd shaped you into who you were meant to become, based on the truth that real superpowers are invisible. They're called love, sacrifice, and second chances. They're called choosing to be seen. They're called building something together that neither person could build alone.